With about a week until the NFL season returns to our loving arms, most of the media landscape will be predicting things like Super Bowl champions, division winners, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, etc., etc. But I'm not going to do that in this video. Actually, I am going to do that in this video, just so we have it on record. Super Bowl, Eagles beat Chiefs. Division winners, Eagles, Lions, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, Texans, MVP, Patrick Mahomes, Offensive Player of the Year, Jahmyr Gibbs, Defensive Player of the Year, Derek Stingley Jr., Rookie of the Year, Travis Hunter for both? Just kidding. Ashton Genty and Jihad Campbell. Anyway, now that that's done, here are 5 not-so-serious things that are absolutely going to happen this NFL season. 1. Shedeur Sanders gets traded from the Cleveland Browns. Everything I've seen from the Browns this offseason is suggesting this to me. I think the coaching staff and front office were higher on Dillon Gabriel, especially when it comes to running Kevin Stefanski's under-center, heavy play-action-based offense. Doesn't Dillon look like kind of a young Baker Mayfield from a distance? No. I'm not saying Gabriel's the answer. He's still a late-round pick. I think Shedeur's a better prospect, but if things get turned over to a rookie this season, he gets first crack, in my opinion. I think the Browns now see Shedeur as more of an asset than anything. They spent a 5th-round pick on him, survived the media storm that they probably didn't anticipate, especially considering half the organization probably didn't want to draft him. And now, I think, with Gabriel in the building, Pickett out the door, though, the most likely scenario for me is they spent a 5th-rounder on him. Maybe they'll get a 4th back from a team willing to take a flyer on a potential future guy. And just while I'm here, the Shedeur derangement syndrome is out of control. I've never seen so many takes on a 23-yard sack in a preseason game. Anyway, I said in my last video I think Shedeur should be starting at this point since I think he's better than Gabriel. Pickett was hurt, is now gone, and Flacco just ain't it for me. If the Browns were a normal organization, I think they would start the season with Pickett as your bridge quarterback with Shedeur waiting in the wings, and that would look totally normal. But alas, they are the Browns, and Deshaun Watson also still looms over all of this. I think the Rams could give Shedeur a look as Stafford ages, and they likely won't have high picks in the upcoming draft if Stafford is relatively healthy this year. I think McVay could teach a cat to be an NFL quarterback also. The Saints could revitalize a fan base with a trade for Shedeur, but I fear that would tank his entire career considering where they are right now. And speaking of the Saints, I think they're going to go 0-17. I feel like such a jerk giving this take, and I feel like every time someone in the media does this, predicts a winless season or like an undefeated season, the team goes out and wins in week 1 and demands their respect, but eventually ends up still with the number 1 overall pick. Anyway, the Saints are in an awful situation. Derek Carr wasn't good for them, but at least gave them a floor as a starting NFL quarterback. Unfortunately, he had to retire, leaving us with an all-timer of a QB decision in the Bayou between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. And all those years coming so close at the end of Drew Brees' career came with a massive bill. And now the Saints are going to have to pay it. And seriously, go back and look at who came through those Saints rosters between 2017 and 2021 just about. It was an incredible team. Demario Davis and Cam Jordan are really all that's left of the blue chippers on that team, and they deserve better than this. But here we are. Another reason for this prediction is that I'm not really a Kellen Moore guy. It sounds treasonous to say this as an Eagles fan, and he's a certifiable Philly legend as the offensive coordinator of a Super Bowl champion. I just felt lukewarm about the offense the Eagles ran last year from a scheme perspective. The Eagles could simply knock teams out with the most talented offense in the league, and guys rarely had to be schemed open. And truthfully, they rarely were. Despite the Saints having some decent players in Olave, Shaheed, and Kamara, I sense major struggles coming from this offense's ability to move the football, especially given the quarterback situation. Okay, number 3, the Seahawks take flight. And in my video telling you 5 teams to root for this NFL season, I gave you the Seahawks. In the time since that video, it appears the rest of the NFL media has caught up to my valuation of their defense. Welcome, everybody. I also recently rewatched Jackson Smith and Jigba's Rose Bowl game against Utah just to get fired up. Anyway, he was incredible last season. I think Darnold is going to be good. And I just like the look of a team with an epic defense, power running scheme, and if nothing else, reliable receivers in JSN and Cooper Kupp. Now, you may look at the rest of the division and say, how are they going to beat out the Niners and the Rams? with the Niners, okay, how about a little history lesson? Every year that the Niners don't represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, they're the most injury-riddled team in the league. And if you don't think that's going to happen this year, then why is it already happening? With Ayuk still recovering from an ACL tear and Juwan Jennings in a contract dispute, they had to trade for Sky Moore. The wide receiver situation is dire, and usually Shanahan can work around average wide receiver play, but no team can survive having zero solid pass-catching options on the outside. They're buying McCaffrey insurance and Brian Robinson, although I was under the impression that any running back they elevated from the practice squad would be just fine, given the Niners scheme. And if you'll allow me to opine for a moment, I don't think Brock Purdy's good enough to elevate players around him the way that his contract demands he does. Anyway, the Rams have a roster I love outside of the secondary. I simply do not trust Stafford's health right now. It pains me to say it. I love him as a player. The Rams snuck into the playoffs last year and looked really good with Stafford, who wasn't fully healthy last season. The signs are just bad. The mystery around his health this offseason has been awful. And I'm severely worried about what Jimmy Garoppolo would look like if called into the line of duty, considering McVay couldn't stand Jared Goff any longer 4 years ago. The Seahawks are young, and I think they're going to be a really tough matchup for anyone this season. 4. The Packers miss the playoffs. Okay, this one feels quite dangerous because I know some people out there will have the Packers as a viable Super Bowl team. They ended last year banged up. They had a lot of drops. And frankly, I owe the Packers a debt for making the Dallas Cowboys the only team in NFL history to lose to a 7th seed in the playoffs. They're well coached. They're young. However, I'm buying stock in every other team in the division. We know the NFC North is a powerhouse. I just love the Vikings roster, and I think if McCarthy is just competent, they will be really good after bringing in Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen to secure the D-line. We know how incredible their weapons are. Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the league. Jordan Addison's great. TJ Hawkinson's great. I don't know about a year 2 leap for Caleb Williams on the Bears side, but I think the Bears offense will be strong under Ben Johnson. Odunze will improve. Loveland and Kmet will be a great tight end pairing, perfect for Johnson's offense. And I think Dennis Allen was a home run hire to coach the defense, and he might be around a while now that he's had 2 passes at head coach and go poorly. And with the Lions, I think they just have too much quality in-house to miss the playoffs. Despite the departures of Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, I expect a slightly bumpy start for them, but the identity of this team makes me think they'll really dig in for a late season run at the division. I just feel better about those 3 arguments for the Lions, Bears, and Vikings than I do for the Packers. It's nothing personal. Cheeseheads. Number 5. Michael Penix Jr. becomes the league's new favorite son. I might be giving out takes with a little too much emotion on this one, but how can you not be psyched about this coming season for Michael Penix Jr.? How can you not? He looked strong in his first career starts at the end of last season. He's been given the keys to an offense with a Ferrari in backfield in Bijan Robinson, a Porsche at wide receiver in Drake London, and hopefully he can be the guy to get the Kyle Pitts Lamborghini out of the goddamn garage. Look, if the Falcons are smart, this offense's focal point will be Bijan, but we know how this league works. If the Falcons make the playoffs, it will be because Penix put together, in some way, a really good season, and we can expect the defense to improve and weapons to elevate their game. But if Penix delivers and revitalizes a massive market that is starved for some playoff success in Atlanta, he will be one of the most beloved players in the league. And how can you not love that story of overcoming all those injuries in college? I love that he's left-handed. I love that he takes chances with the football. If you're a Falcons fan, you're rewatching that playoff semifinal versus Texas on repeat. So, sorry to spoil the season for you, but this is what it's going to look like this year. And in all seriousness, this is what's best about the NFL, is despite the fact I got a little silly with the predictions, and I could have gotten even sillier, there would still be a 50-50 chance that any of this stuff is right. That's how insane things tend to get. That's how unpredictable it gets. That's the NFL. It's finally just about here. I can't wait. Happy football season, everybody. Like and subscribe. Follow me on social media at Vincent Zakian. Make sure to tune into next week's video. Bye-bye.